Hello guys and welcome back. We're here with Kimberley
Buckle.
Nice, cool. So today we're talking about Kim as the professional. Go look at last week's episode if you want to get into Kim's mind as a creative. Right. Kimberley?
Yes.
What does it take to operate a theatrical/creative space in Cape Town? 5 things, quickly.
These are also things that I don't do, but I like to do.
Yeah, but tell us about them.
I think setting boundaries is the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being patient is another thing. Being like prepared. Do you know what? Rudeness coming. Think of the dumbest person you know.
Yeah.
And just set that a little bit lower. And that's like what you need to prepare for.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Noted.
You can't assume that people are on your level. That's the thing. You can't assume that. Don't ever assume that. That's 3 things.
Yes.
I think you have to be prepared for your hours to be completely fucked up.
Yeah.
Like there's no 9 to 5. It's like whenever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a thing. But also like the unexpected positive thing was there's a sense of community that is unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you look around and you're like, oh, these people keep showing up. I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect, the people you go in going like, oh, this is my network. And then you're like, oh, actually look at that.
I've got a whole new network.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
Cool. Right. What aspects of collaboration are most important to you?
I think something that I've been thinking about more and more, especially in the last few months, is that I think so often we're looking for collaborators or someone to collaborate with that is our equal. And I think it's like a relationship, right? You want to have things in common and things that are of interest to both of you, but you don't want to date yourself.
Exactly.
Because what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point in me collaborating with someone who has the same skills as me.
Yeah.
Because then I might as well do it myself and just ask my mom to like cheerlead me.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what I'm looking for then.
Yeah.
Which is also something to think about. Like if you are just looking for someone to hold you accountable, then find that.
Yeah.
So I think in a collaborator, you want someone who can do the jobs that you can't do.
Yeah.
Whether that's emotionally or intellectually or physically, the skill set is different. What are you missing and what do you need to like make your product or your joint product stronger?
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Like balancing each other out.
You collaborate with someone who you're like, oh, we're the same.
Yeah.
Which is great. But like, and it might work for a project or 2, but in terms of like a long-term thing, then your strengths will just get stronger.
Yeah.
And your weaknesses will just get stronger too.
Yeah.
Weaker.
Yeah.
Yes. I suppose it's like practicing. You're good at pirouettes, so you keep practicing them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get really great at pirouettes, but you were ignoring the fact that you really suck at like, rhythm.
Yeah. No,
so I think that's the kind of, sorry, my nose is so itchy.
That's okay.
That's the kind of collaboration that I'm more interested in.
So do you think like it's important for you to like the story needs to be the same and the skill set different?
I suppose the work, something, okay, so yeah, I think one of the reasons that, if I'll use Liam as an example, is that I think we both stand for the same thing in terms of just like creatively. We're both focused on storytelling. We're also both focused, we have similar work ethics. We're both prepared to stay up till 2:00 in the morning. That helps because it means that you can do the job and that both of you can do the job and you're not feeling like, oh, only one of me is doing the job.
Yeah.
But also we both came from like, I think we both feel like underdogs. So we both have the same status in the industry where we both feel like no one's looking at us. No one's like, rooting for us, that we're both, fighting this like war, whether it's fictional or not. That we are fighting the same battle, maybe. We've got the same thing holding us together.
Yeah.
But in terms of like our differences, obviously our skill sets are different. So I'm not trying to choreograph, he's not trying to write.
But you're a movement specialist.
I am. People don't know that about me, but I am.
Yeah.
my skill.
Yeah.
I pretend that I can't choreograph, but actually I'm just holding back.
When Liam's away.
Yeah, I take over.
Yeah.
And then the work suddenly improves so much.
Joking, Liam, we love you.
Yeah. All right.
When he listens to this.
But he also writes scripts when I'm away. So
Yeah.
but in terms of like where it makes, so like work-wise, we can balance each other out. I mean, silly things like I can climb ladders because I'm not afraid of heights. You know, I can rig lights.
Mm-hmm.
He can't do that because he's scared.
So you can hold the ladder at the bottom. The light will get done.
But talking to people, he can do very confidently.
Yes.
He can network. He can go. He can introduce himself. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, you go do that, and I'll stand here. And then he's like, oh, and this is Kim. I'll be like, hello.
Yeah. You two are very different in that sense, which is awesome. But what was so cool for me working with you guys was like the way you were telling the same story and in different ways. Like as your script ended, he picked up the movement, and I don't know, like watching you two work, I was like, whoa, you guys are communicating on a different frequency right now. And like, yeah, that was really cool to see.
That is practice.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously you do have a natural like creative chemistry sometimes with people. You just do. So we have that. But in terms of like how we work now, like it's practice. We practiced for 3 years straight, nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Right. Your creative and business lives are becoming one. How have you balanced creating authentic work and running a business?
I have one planet.
Yeah. I mean,
do you
have anything that grounds you?
Not really. I think the work grounds me. It's a really, I suppose like any therapist or any sane person is going to be like, danger, danger. Red flag. I use my work to connect to the world.
Okay.
When I go home, I feel very disconnected and I feel like I don't exist.
Interesting.
To the point that like, yeah, I also live in a bit of a conspiracy where I don't know if anybody actually likes me when I'm not creating or when I'm not at work.
Interesting.
And hopefully my parents don't watch this, but I think my thoughts and feelings were quite neglected growing up. And so whenever I've had conversations, like the way I can speak in the industry and the way I can speak like through my art and people listen is not something that I'm accustomed to in my personal life. In my personal life, I'm a silly idiot who must just be quiet and do what they're told. So it's kind of this, it's almost like the art was the escape, but now the art is actually who I am. And when I'm not creating and when I'm not in that environment, then I'm the pretender.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, completely.
Reverse Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. I was literally thinking I was like the opposite of anyone else that I know.
I am more myself when I'm creating. And that's also, I think, what becomes quite tricky because I do say a lot through my art. And I almost think if people took my art and were like, this is real, what I'm saying is real. The situations are not real, but what I'm saying and what I'm like, when the character is saying something to another character, I'm like, that's how I feel. That's what's happening in my life. But, then someone will be like, oh, you like, how are you doing? How's it going? And I'm like, terrible. Didn't you watch my play? I'm a cult leader.
Yeah.
And all these children want to kill me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's like me talking directly to people. And then it's weird when people, they don't know. They'll be like, Shane, like, do you struggle with mental health? I'm like, did you not just watch the thing I just did? That's me. That's who I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you as the creative, sure, I understand that you don't separate yourself from that, but like you run a very successful business too. How do you balance the creative Kim, it's the cult leader, and the businesswoman?
I don't very well, and I need to. I'm getting to a point where I need to, and I'm trying to do that. And like at the moment, I'm obsessed with contracts because I'm like, this is the way I'm going to set boundaries. Yeah, I'm going to make people sign a piece of paper, and it's silly things like, I think, TMI, the other day we had a thing at the base and I'd sent a message out to people. Shame, I hope people don't feel bad. But basically I sent a message out in the email being like, the venue will only be open at 9. Please do not expect access before 9. Because I was like, that's my way of saying, I am not letting anybody into my space before 9. And I arrive at 8:30. I have half an hour to just set myself up in the space, do what I need to do stupid things, check that the toilet paper is full, check that the toilets are flushed, things that I just need to do to get my head ready for the day. And then I get there and people are ringing the doorbell at 8:30 and people are already in the space. And I'm like, why does no one listen to me? And I had a meltdown.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do because I'm like, now I am in this choice because everybody tells you about how to set boundaries. So I'll go, cool, don't phone me before 9. But no one goes, what are you going to do if that bitch does phone you before 9?
Yeah.
What are you actually going to do about it? Because setting boundaries and maintaining boundaries are very different things. And the maintaining the boundaries is the tricky part.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, do I go, hello, announcement, everybody here needs to get out onto the street until 9. I'm not going to do that because I'm not a doers.
Yeah.
So I know as a woman, that's like a bitchy thing to do.
Yeah. But boundaries and being a bitch are different.
Different. So what I did was I was like, I'm going to leave until 9. So I left.
And that's not fair.
And that's okay either because it's my house.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
But I know what I don't want. I think I'm in that place now where I feel so angsty and I feel so annoyed that I have to make moves now to rectify that.
I also think that in setting boundaries, a part of ourselves that just wants to please people all the time, the more boundaries you have, the more people will respect you and respect those boundaries. Because, if you said, sorry, I did say you could only come at 9, I'm sure they would never come at 8:30 ever again.
True.
You know what I mean? That one time, okay, cool, noted.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what? Tomorrow they're going to show up at 8:30.
Yeah, because what you going to do about it?
She's going to leave anyways. So, you know what I mean? So setting those boundaries, I don't know. I feel like people might respect you more.
I think so. And I think people actually like clarity.
Yeah.
Because then they know how to navigate you.
Yeah.
But I think I'm also that person. It's like, whatever you want, whatever you need, I'm just going to do that thing.
Yeah.
Which is tricky because I also find that when I'm the writer, I'm the main authoritarian. I decide where the full stops go. No one tells me what to do.
Yeah.
But as a director, you suddenly, you have a plan and you're like, cool. And then someone goes, I'm feeling a bit sick. You're like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
You're ruining my life. What am I supposed to do now? I can't tell you not to be sick. I'm not God. I can't just cure illnesses.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do I do in those moments? Because then also you're working with people. So you have to be collaborative and you have to be a reasonable person and a reasonable, accommodating human. Because at the end of the day, if I'm a complete tyrant and I'm like, all of you are pieces of shit, and I talk down to you and I dictate your lives and I treat you like children, then the work's going to be shit because you're not going to have any investment in it.
No, you won't give anything.
But then at the same time, you flip the other way where you're just like, and then people go, so I'm in this play and fuck it. Kim doesn't care if I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you're in this weird paradox where it's like you have to set your expectations so clearly that people don't want to fuck around with them. And maybe that's it. I'm figuring it out now. Maybe the thing is not setting boundaries that are personal, especially in a work environment.
Yeah.
It's like setting expectations for the work, not for yourself.
And it has nothing to do with you. Your relationship as a friend. It's at work, these are the expectations. And I suppose finding that balance.
And I suppose also being able to check those. There's certain expectations and you should write them all down and then be like, right, people wearing blue, unreasonable. On your personal time, sorry, I'm just looking at you. On your personal time, I hate that you're wearing blue.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say. But that's something I can't control. And so I can't assume to control it. And that then becomes being a dictator. Whereas being be on time. Totally reasonable.
Yeah. That is a completely reasonable expectation.
Yeah.
15 minutes before is how I'm taught. Anything after that is late.
Just late.
Yeah. Cool. How have you used the Outlaw as a platform to facilitate events and initiatives? So tell us a bit about the Outlaw, basically.
Outlaw. Yeah, this is another thing we've suddenly realized we have to separate the two.
Oh, yes.
You've got the Outlaw, which is the creative company who create work, and you've got the Outlaw base, which is a venue.
The base.
It's the base.
It's the base,
you know,
and the Outlaw.
It's 4 walls and a floor and sometimes a roof.
Yeah, sometimes.
So I think what's been cool about the Outlaw base is that the reason we found the space is because our work needed more freedom in terms of like the set and in terms of the actual space itself. And that's why we found the space and that's why we wanted it. And so it's been nice to be able to have the space available for people who are suffering the same problems, you know, where they're like, well, I want to do it flip this way. And you're like, great, then do that.
And around everything.
Yeah. And to see people who are creative and who are independent come in and sort of reimagine their work in the space and be able to do that. So that's been very cool. And I've forgotten the question.
Well, how have you used the Outlaw base as a platform to facilitate events and initiatives?
Yeah.
So for yourself and for others.
I think for us, it's been cool because we can actually really explore that immersive thing.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like we're making little prototypes of what, you know, if someone has R1 million, it's just throw this way. You know what I mean?
If anyone wins the check as
Kim
wants it.
I'm so upset. That's the only reason I watched the rugby. And I never won a thing. I got a Kit Kat though.
Okay, well.
I haven't checked it in though. Because I've lost the thing. But anyway, that's my problem.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been nice to be able to do that. And I think also it has encouraged other people, like to see people come in who want to do their plays and go, how, you know, like someone's doing a play there now, soon. Might have been over by the time this comes out. But, you know, she kind of walked in and she was like, how do I turn this into an airport? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool because at a normal theatre, you can't really do it.
Without expensive set and...
Yeah, you know, like, unfortunately, Dead on the Bay is Dead on the Bay.
Yeah.
You know, you're not changing it.
Yeah.
You can put some people in costume. Do you know what I mean? You can try, but it's not going to change drastically. It is a theatre. The seats are the colour they are. The walls are the colour they are. You know, it is what it is. Whereas with our space, because it's so blank, you really can...
Do anything.
And quite minorly.
Yeah.
You know, with Camp Hellfire, we really didn't... I mean, those things that we built are now, like, done. But, I mean, it really wasn't that drastic.
At all.
It was just a few things because the spaces, we didn't have to... I think that's the thing. You don't have to hide what's already there and then create on top of that.
Yeah.
You can just create.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's been cool.
Yeah. It was also really cool for XCODE to use a space like that and like really dive deep into that immersive experience. Like that space allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I don't know anywhere else in Cape Town where you could have done that.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Amazing. Right. Will you tell us about the Creative Club?
Yes. So it's kind of shifting a bit, which is good.
Which is good.
We like shifting. It started off as just sort of an open house in the mornings from 9 till 12, where the whole idea is that you come and you use the space to choreograph something, to write something, to sit, to chat, to have a meeting, to have a script reading. We've had a few things like our friend Nati comes in and he'll turn the mirrors and he'll just put his earphones in and choreograph something. We've had people do like a script reading in there, and you kind of in your own little space, because the space is so big, you can just like find your corner and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But then I got therapy. So at Hoppers 10 to Hoppers 11, slap bang in the middle, I'm not there. And Liam has his gym stuff. So it's like that time now is
weird.
It's weird. So then we're like, okay, well, let's do it in the evenings. But then what started happening is the people who used to come in the mornings weren't coming. And suddenly a new bunch of people were coming, but they were there to like, it was weird for me because I was there in my pajamas writing scripts, and then these like people came out and they were like dressed up with makeup on, and they're like, cool, so we used to like network. And I was like, oh no, it was him, it was me. And I was like, oh God, my worst timing. So it's sort of like then became a networking event, which is fine. And I feel like that organically needs to happen.
Yeah.
But it's not like the main intention of the thing. And so now we're like, how do we set an intention for each creative club?
Yeah.
And so last week we tried this thing where doors open at 6. So from 6 to 7, I keep hitting this microphone. From 6 to 7, it's an open house.
Yeah.
So then those kinds of things can happen. But also if you come with your laptop and you just want to sit and write, you can do that.
You can choose what you kind of want to do.
Exactly. But then like the main activity or an activity that you could sign up for was improv roulette, which is a dance thing that Liam leads. And so people specifically came for that. But beforehand, a friend of ours was there choreographing on his own. And then when improv roulette came, he was like, oh, I'll stay and do some improv roulette. And then someone also came and she's like, I just wanted to like check out the space, and I am an ex-dancer, but I feel like I don't want to dance because I feel, intimidated. So she sat and she watched and she was like an observer. And so we're trying to think of things and also encourage people. So like if you wanted to do a script reading, if you've just written a scene and you could post on your own Instagram and be like, hey guys, I'm doing a script writing at Creative Club. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
If I don't want to be involved in it, I won't.
Yeah.
But, 10 people might show up and be like, oh no, we're here to listen to so-and-so's script. And that's what happens in the space.
Yeah.
And someone might show up and be like, oh, I just came to check it out. And then they're like, oh, script reading, me please.
Yeah. So it's like a creative hub where people can kind of work independently or together,
Yeah.
Definitely like being in a space with creatives might inspire you as well.
Totally.
Yeah. That's really awesome. I think like there might be a world in which there's like a morning work session because for creatives, like we don't have a 9 to 5 that we drive into work. Like we're just doing everything kind of on the fly.
Yeah.
So it's like driving to work and sitting down and working and then having like an evening thing where it's more of like a,
So yeah, more like
a class and network vibes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
More of like,
That's
tap on your feet type of thing, but in the morning can be a more like mind and hand thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. One more question. How can the community go about supporting and feeding fringe theatre?
I think we need to ask ourselves why we are going to watch theatre and why we're not going to watch theatre. Because there are some reasons why we don't go to watch theatre that are redundant. So, for example, I might not want to go and watch theatre because so-and-so is doing it. And it's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Or I might want to go and watch theatre because I want to watch so-and-so make a fool of themselves. And that's not a good enough reason. I think we need to, if you're going to watch theatre, it's either because you've read the blurb and you've gone, this is cool, this is something that I identify with. The same way that we would go and watch a movie. You go, oh, I like the sound of that, or the trailer was cool, I'm going to go watch that. And not care about who's in it. But I think because we know everybody who's involved in things, sometimes that can sway our opinions on things and be like, well, I'm boycotting that person because they were rude to me. And it sounds terrible. And people who hear that, who are out of the industry, are like, that's ridiculous. And you're like, I know, it sounds that way. But it's true. There are, and sometimes I like to think that I'm not guilty of it. I don't think I am, and I'm going to back myself on that.
Yeah.
At the moment, the only reason I don't watch theatre is because usually there are shows happening at my venue. So, like, I'm working, or I honestly don't have the money for it. But, I know that there's a lot of clickiness, and it's not helpful.
Yeah.
It's really not helpful because it's sort of like eating your own tail.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense that you would boycott something that ultimately you need it to succeed.
Yeah.
For you to continue to do that thing.
Yeah. Especially for performers and for any creative, it's like if you're not supporting fringe theatre, like it will fizzle away. And without that, there's nothing supporting the biggest. So everything just becomes less and less and less. And then we circle right back to like the gatekeeping because there's only 5 jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It's just this like crazy thing. I also think that unfortunately there are not enough of us to be able to create audiences for our own work.
Yeah.
it's not possible. If every theatre maker in Cape Town went to watch Alan's new show at Theatre on the Bay, we would barely fill a full house. Because there's not that many of us.
Yeah.
What we need to do is I need to go and watch Alan's show and go, I'm going to be a bum on the seat and to pay. And also I like the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go and support this work.
Yeah, shout out Alan.
You know? But I'm going to bring my mom because it looks like it would appeal to her. We need to bring audiences in to watch other people's work.
Yes.
We need to be building audiences with our
normal friends. I call them normies.
Yeah.
It's normal jobs.
But exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And it's like, obviously I'm not going to take my father to go and watch a Lara Foot production because he's going to be like, oh, uncomfortable, people naked on stage. It's not for him.
Yeah.
But if Colt Bay are doing a show, I'm going to take him.
Yeah.
And he's going to love it. And then Colt Bay, thank you very much. You have my father and his partner as new audiences. And rest assured, he's going to bring his friends.
Exactly.
He's going to be impressed. He's going to enjoy it. And then he's going to come back. So we always have to
enjoy it when they go. It's just about getting them there.
Exactly.
So, not going to shows with our creative friends, but taking, I mean, I've watched Man Bound with so many different people.
Yeah.
Because every time I'm like, okay, come, mom, sister, come, friends, let's go. Like, my friend's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, let's go watch Man Bound together and we can get, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's important for us to like bring audiences in and support as much fringe as possible.
Yeah.
Like, if you're available, be there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. Cool. Any final words?
I don't think so. No.
Well, yeah, I just want to say thank you for being so vulnerable and honest. It was really cool chatting with you. And I think people are going to learn a lot from you.
Well, they should because I'm just a well of knowledge.
Listen. But you are. But anyway, so I just also want to say to everyone listening, like, come and support the Outlaw because they're doing amazing, amazing things. Kim and Liam, like, it really is like they're changing our industry and you want to be part of that movement. So yeah, thank you for your time today, Kim. Really appreciate it. Still don't have an outro, so and fade.